So guys, it is still very shocking to many Nigerians why the Tinubu's government decided to suddenly let go its service chiefs. This is coming at a time when Nigeria is being dragged over the spine of Christians and the level of insecurity happening in the country, as the United States is insisting that Nigeria is going to be tagged a country of particular concern. But before we get into the video we have for you guys, take a look at this headline. U.S. Mayor challenges Sultan of Sokoto to prove he's not involved in alleged Christian killing. So this man is challenging the Sultan of Sokoto to prove his innocency on what is going on in Nigeria. Don't forget that many northern leaders have been said to support all these terror fighters. Like you can see this headline here. It says, "You fight Almighty Allah when you fight Boko Haram." This is said to have been said by the Sultan of Sokoto. And now this mayor is asking the Sultan to prove his innocency, considering the fact that the people causing this carnage are mostly the Fulanis. You know, they come in, they take over people's community, and they are left to rename these communities and start living there and now naturalize there. And nobody speaks up. Nobody says it's wrong. Even the National Assembly, even the leaders from the north. Now this United States lawyer is saying the Sultan should prove his innocency. Many Nigerians have been reacting on the social media. But before we take a look at some of their reactions, let's hear from this video on why reactions that has to do with Tinubu sacking his service chiefs so suddenly. Now take a look.
Good morning, my people. You're welcome to today's political broadcast. Today is the 25th of October, 2025, and we are still discussing Nigerian politics. Now, if it were Obasanjo or Jonathan, northern Nigeria would have carried out a successful coup. I repeat, if it were Obasanjo or Jonathan, northern Nigeria would have actually carried out a successful coup. We know that there's a massive shake-up and retirement going on in the military as we speak. The president has sacked his army chiefs because of the reported coup to remove him and destabilize his government. Now, we know that if Obasanjo did what Tinubu is doing, or Jonathan did what Tinubu is doing today, northern Nigeria would have actually carried out a successful coup. Tinubu got into government and challenged the powers that be, the cabals in Nigeria. I saw one report saying that these cabals that have been relegated to oblivion are the ones trying to find a way to make Tinubu's government destabilize the government. Now, Tinubu had to enter into power and challenge the Fulani hegemony, the Fulani political structure, and therefore he's relegating them to oblivion. If Obasanjo had done this during his time as president, or even Jonathan, northern Nigeria would have actually carried out a successful coup. Now, from the table of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he says there's an update here this morning. I have approved changes in the hierarchy of our armed forces to further strengthen Nigeria's national security architecture. Big grammar and big English. General Olufemi Oluyede is appointed Chief of Defense Staff. Major General W. Shaibu becomes Chief of Army Staff. He's from Kogi State. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke is from Enugu State, Chief of Air Staff. Rear Admiral I. Abbas is the new Chief of Naval Staff, while Major General E.A.P. Udiendeye retains his role as Chief of Defense Intelligence. Now, amongst the military shake-up, two people were not sacked. We had the Oluyede was not sacked, and also Udiendeye was not also sacked. If you know the position of this Major General Udiendeye, his role is Chief of Defense Intelligence. The reasons why you know that they have not sacked this man is because probably the coup plotters, the intelligence was leaked. The intelligence was leaked. That's why, you see, they had to retain this man. He's from Cross River. So looking at this shake-up, it tells you a lot going on in the government today. You know, the Nigerian army came out to say that nothing is really going on. We arrested some people. I told you that this is classified information. Yes, there is a real coup planning going on to remove Tinubu's government because some elements are angry with the political restructuring, especially the Fulani element, northern Nigeria. They are angry with the political restructuring. See, Southern presidency has never been this powerful in the history of Nigeria. You know, northerners, they believe that they own the military. They have influence in the military. And they want to use their influence in that military to checkmate Southern presidency. I told you that there's restructuring in the Nigerian army. Southern officers are being elevated. Look at the restructuring today. General Olufemi is from the southern part of Nigeria. Major General Shaibu from Kogi State. And if you look at Kogi State, you not call that man a northerner. You understand what I'm saying? Vice Marshal SK and AK is from southern Nigeria. I've not looked at Admiral I. Abbas, the Chief of Naval Staff, and Major General EAP Udiende retains his position, is from southern Nigeria. So Southerners, if you look at the recent recruitment, there is a look into making sure that Southerners populate the Nigerian military architecture. Now, northern Nigeria, Tinubu has become, I don't know what to call Tinubu. Since Tinubu came into power, I don't know whether the man is so angry with the North that within 2 years he has cut their leg. He has crippled northern Nigeria politically, and is going for their influence. Anywhere you see the influence of the Fulani, that is where Tinubu is camping. Now they talk am. Tinubu they look, say, this guy where they talk this thing, he be like say, you know my mind. Let me not talk, but let me be doing what I'm doing. So you saw the recent shake-up tells you a lot about what is going on. The possible military coup. Like I said, under the current structure, it would be difficult to remove a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now that this one has happened, if you know the massive shake-up and retirement going on, okay, let's look at this. Massive shake-up and retirement ongoing in the Nigerian army. Yes, massive shake-up. Say if there is structure or reshuffle or appoint somebody, some officers will have to go on retirement. That is the norm. That is the culture. So a lot of shake-up. And with these shake-ups, before now, I reported that 109 military officers were promoted to general. And this preceded this sack. So there is an intention. This promotion, hey God. Northern Nigeria will ever regret or supporting a Muslim ticket with the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. El-Rufai, where he is today, will be like grinding. What mistake? We have made a grave mistake. Northern Nigeria has made a grave mistake because as it is now, Tinubu surviving all this. People don't know the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm telling you, you don't know. I have a privilege of trying to study this man because I am an intuitive person. If I sit down there, I look at you. I'm a quiet person, but I study a lot about people. Tinubu, you don't know this Tinubu. I'm not even sure Tinubu is a Yoruba man. Like, that's my personal speculations. I'm confused whether this guy is an African man. Because when you look at Tinubu, he looks unconvincing. But the people that are close to him, that have worked with him, they know that this young man, if you underestimate him, you have made the greatest mistake in your life. That is the regret Northern Nigeria is going through as we speak. So the North believe they are powerful. I told you that if Tinubu wins 2027, I will still keep on saying it. These politicians, if Tinubu wins 2027, will never say anything. My talk not going to make Tinubu stop what he's doing or the APC. It is already on motion. This is like a moving train. If Tinubu, Fulani especially, he wants to dismantle the influence of Fulani in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria as a whole. Because if you are pushing for restructuring, you need to let some people out of the way. Make sure that some people are out of the way. Because if you don't get rid of Fulani sabotage of Nigeria's restructuring, you might not go anywhere. Like I talk about the Biafran struggle. If you don't get rid of those that are inside, that are planning against the actualization of a Biafra, you will just be running, and at the end of the day, you don't achieve anything because the enemy within is the most dangerous enemy. So what Tinubu is doing is that he's eliminating the hackles and roadblocks. I don't like Tinubu. I don't support the APC. People that know me know that very well. They know that. They are even shocked that, why is this guy talking about Tinubu in this way? Because I am a rational person. I'm not a mad person. I'm a rational person. I look at things and analyze it this kind of way. If it were Jonathan that did what Tinubu did, your guess is as good as mine. You know what they will have done to these Northerners. Ordinary small bully way, Buhari bully Jonathan. Jonathan, they congratulate him. They congratulate and they blame US. I understand that. Switch Jonathan and put Tinubu in that situation. Do you think that Tinubu will allow them to be running all those their whatever it is? Obasanjo was a Christian of Northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria supported him. They brought him out of prison and they made him president. He was more loyal when he look at his political leaning. He was more loyal to the North than even his brothers in Yoruba land. So he wouldn't have even tried it. At a point in time, the bandits were nominating Obasanjo to help them negotiate and dialogue. Tells you how well these guys, they trust him and how he's their darling in Northern Nigeria. So Obasanjo wouldn't have done such. Although there was a kind of coup, I think April 2004, during time of the second term of Obasanjo. But that one is not compared to what is going on now. Yes, like I told you, Northern Nigeria is so desperate to make sure that Tinubu is not there. Those that are entering the APC from northern Nigeria. Very soon, people will start scheduling themselves to enter the APC from northern Nigeria. Most of these people you see found in the APC, supporting Tinubu's hegemony, or whatever it is, they are there to sabotage the party. APC has a lot on its hands as we speak. APC is the party to beat 2027, but it has a lot on its hands. It does not have street credibility. That is the only thing that will affect the APC. APC does not have street credibility. Since the opposition have decided to sleep, let me tell the APC what they need to do. Because I don't know why we have an opposition, a leader. For instance, we have a leader in a ship, a captain in the ship. Other people are moving. We are not moving. The captain is sleeping. Everybody wants to join a moving train because nobody wants to be static. So APC needs to work on its grassroots, because it is clear that APC does not have street credibility. And you see, if we had people that really wanted to remove a Tinubu, if we had people, that means Tinubu's government is under risk. I'm telling you. Tinubu government, let me even tell you the truth. It is not even this massive shake-up that is going on in the military that really would even cure anything. It is how the government of the day would win the trust of the people, which is very impossible. Very impossible for Tinubu to win the trust of the people. He can only win the sentiment of the people, but he cannot win the trust of the people. That is why I'm suggesting that Tinubu restructure Nigeria. That's the only way out. Anything other thing that you are playing politics, my brother, Tinubu will even be playing into the hands of these Northerners, because Northerners, their lifeline is, like, life is power. Without power, they are dead. They cannot breathe. They cannot sustain themselves. Imagine somebody that wants to drown. He knows that he's going. He can do anything he can to survive. That is what Northern Nigeria will do any day, anytime, and they will never stop. Don't think that you can subdue them, destabilize them, and they will remain like that. No, they will find ways to come together to clinch that power. That is why restructuring is very, very critical and important. So the NSA, National Security Advisor, was not removed. Olede was not removed. Olede was instead brought from the Chief of Army Staff to Chief of Defense Staff. Why did they remove the Chief of Defense Staff? And why did they retain the Major General Udajenye, who is the Chief of Defense Intelligence? Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Defense Intelligence. Now, intelligence reports broke out. Although Nigerian government army told us that there's nothing like coup. Like I said, you see, there are things that are going on in the country today within the coffers of the government that if Nigerians know, if you know what is going on, if you know the atrocities committed by these your politicians, whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, if the masses know the atrocities committed by these politicians, they will wake up today. If the information come out today, they will wake up today. So the Nigerian army is telling us that there's nothing like coup. We just arrested some people. After the arrest, there's nothing like coup, are we? After the arrest, you see them promoting some army officers. Now there's a great reshuffling. And this reshuffle, many officers go retire. Many officers go retire. The intelligence may have sabotaged the efforts of these coup plotters. That is why he may have been retained. And it is the DSS, the body that will advise Tinubu on what he should do. And mind you, there's a political angle to that. The DSS is a candidate under Tinubu's political empire to become president 2031. So there's many things that connect these two. See, politics is very complicated. Politics is not, you are a scientist, you can add hydrocarbon and oxygen and you can get a result. But in politics is more complicated by science. So in politics, you will add 1 plus 1. That's why you're going to say 4 is greater than 16 in politics. You prove them, you don't go prove them, but you go to see and they happen. You go, mathematically, 16 is greater than 4. But in politics, 4 can be greater than 16. In those states, how many people were in the House of Assembly? Now, the one that Fubara used to run River State for how many months before Tinubu came and helped Wike, rescue Wike from being disgraced in River State. That's my opinion, sir. That's my opinion. So in politics, you go, when they tell you say 4 is greater than 16, you agree. You go agree. So you see, Ribadu, there's a political point that will be scored on that part. Because Tinubu, like I said, is building an empire. And Northern Nigeria, they know. But they can't help it. They don't know what to do. They are not united as before. Most of these appointments, you see, Kogi, Nasarawa, not central. Not central. And you know, not central, he wants to make sure that, although the Kaduna guy, what is his name? The defense, chief of defense, was from Southern Kaduna. But you pick from Kogi, from Nasarawa INEC chairman, Nasarawa, from the North Central, a lot of political awakening is going on. Political awakening is going on in North Central. North Central is going to rise up from the ashes now and would be able to champion Northern politics in the future. That is what Tinubu is targeting. I repeat, not I think North Central, not West. North Central will rise up from the ashes of oblivion in Northern Nigeria, and they will take charge of Northern politics. You know, the North Central, they don't think like the rest of Northwest and Northeast. If you talk about restructuring, dividing Nigeria today, North Central, they with you. 80%, North Central, they with you. Southwest is an option for them. Southeast, 100%, their two hands will be up, minus their politicians. All those ones are fully full. You understand? So this, when you see these new appointments, if they can be giving us the names, I'll be analyzing the names for you. The architecture, if Tinubu, see, I'm saying it's not like a warning, not like a threat. It's like an alarm, alerting you in Northern Nigeria. What do you need to do in Northern Nigeria? I've not said what APC need to do, because even with this massive shake-up, is a minus to the APC. Another minus to the APC is how they handle nnamdi Kanu's case. The APC will create enemies. Already, APC gets now their name for black book already, but they don't care. APC politicians don't care. They don't care. So as you look at it, what can Northern Nigeria do? You see, Northern Nigeria needs to restructure its political ideology. I don't know. The feudal system of politics, whereby some people will be rich. They use the poor to score political points. When they want to enter power, they use the poor. They make sure they remain poor. The appointments, they share amongst themselves and their families. The dividends that comes to Northern Nigeria, they share the wealth of Northern Nigeria amongst the few, very few. That's the kind of political system, the feudal political system they are practicing in North. That kind of political system is easier for somebody else to speak to the masses. You know, there are two classes. In Northern Nigeria, their own is obvious. Although in Nigeria generally, we have the upper class, the lower class. It's a class society. But North, the gap, is wide gone, using religion and all have you. So this is the reality. Northern Nigeria needs to change its political strategy because things are changing 2025. Now, if you fail with this coup, you will see what Tinubu will be doing. He go even they get advice from foreign military formations, foreign military bodies. I'm telling you, he can even call some top military experts. What can I do to make sure that there's no coup in Nigeria? You'll be consulting now, and there will be a lot of shake-up going on. I told you that a head of state or a president, if he comes into power, they like use people with their trust. Because if you know he's your brother, they can change that for you because Nigeria is complicated. That person where they stand, the aid where they stand for their back. Jonathan, is that his Igbo or South? Buhari is his Hausa or Fulani brother. Tinubu, he must be a Yoruba person. He must be a Yoruba person. It seems that that chief of defense staff that he gave Northern or South, he had to remove it and put his Yoruba brother there. You see, a lot of things are happening. So Northern Nigeria needs to change its tactic now. Now that it's not too late because you cannot win Tinubu in this political fight. I'm not bragging for Tinubu. I'm not looking at the strength of the APC. I'm looking at the weakness of the opposition. The weakness of the political actors. It is your weakness that is giving you in. Because you know why you can't fight Tinubu? Tinubu will utilize your division in Northern Nigeria. You know, in Northern Nigeria, younger people are so ambitious, they want to become president. The older ones are facing away. There's no legacy they are leaving for the younger ones. That's how feudalism is. They want the power to themselves until they die with the power. They die. It's when they are about to die, they start looking for how they can delegate it. Yes. So the political strategy should change in Northern Nigeria. Now the APC is losing a lot of, with all this Tinubu is doing. That is the irony. With all this Tinubu is doing, APC still is losing a lot of trust. A lot of trust from its own people. Its own people. You will not realize it until this segment or this year pass. After they finish with this massive shake-up and retirement, you see a lot of antagonism going in. So the APC needs to restore confidence from the grassroots, from people at the grassroots. If they cannot restore confidence from people at the grassroots, now their problem with that. Nobody want to be president. I tell you, say, now the restructuring I want. Because anything can happen in politics. With all our speculation, our predictions, anything can actually happen in politics. Things can just change overnight. Nigerians have short memory span. It is what you can do for them now that massive people can turn and start voting for you now if you do something for them now. Yes. Now the APC, APC will not last long. That is, it will not last long. APC is depending on the lifeline of a Tinubu, and Tinubu has limited time to live because it's somebody that is 70 something. If they are 10, the next 10 years, what are they fighting for? Let's say 70 something is the football age. Let's say it's 80. You have 10 years, in now 90 years. After 10 years of the APC, he will be out of the scene. Do you think that APC will have to last longer than this? So restructuring is the key. After the shuffling the cabinet, my brother, go and restructure Nigeria. Restructure Nigeria by powers will be at different nationalities will have a sizable amount of power to develop themselves. I repeat, nationalities in Nigeria will have sizable amount of power not to depend on monies coming from the center, but to develop themselves in security and economy. These two areas, very important. That is the first step of restructuring Nigeria. But if this does not happen, if you do not do this as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you don't do this, man, you saw what happened. Some people are still there waiting for opportunity to even carry out another onslaught on the government. May God help Nigerians.
So guys, I'm just quickly going to take you through some of the reactions as regards to this headline of Nigerian soldiers raising alarm that the Nigerian military forces them to work with repentant Boko Haram fighters they don't trust. These are people that came from all kinds of background. They've been indoctrinated no matter the level of repentance they claim to have had. You know, they don't still trust them, and they are raising alarm. Anyway, Nigerians have been talking. I'm going to take you through some of the reactions. You know, this is why some people are so reluctant joining the Nigerian army, because people now see it as the easiest way to go to eternity. If you join the Nigerian army, from the time you are recruited, you are sent to the battlefield, and you know what that means. Now, working with your enemies can even make it more complicated and even riskier. Now, let's see how Nigerians are reacting to this. This person said, Nigerian army, make owner they play. Common sense is really not so common. This person says, something is not right. What has happened to my beloved country? Nigeria is a terrorist country. This person said, right from the day the government starts forgiving Boko Haram members, that was when I knew the government had an Islamization agenda. Hey, this other person here saying Nigeria is a comic nation filled with different characters. This is the handiwork of Nunu Ribadu, and some accords to northern elites are brothers from the north. Aaron commenting, they've suddenly gone deaf and dumb. A sane military man. Okay, he's trying to say if he was a sane military man. As a sane military man, I will resign immediately. I think this one is enough for a military man to say, I am going. You know that in the military, it's not even easy for you to resign. But this guy is saying, with this kind of information that you are going to be working with pardon bandits and Boko Haram members, it's enough for you to just say, I go, I don't work anymore. Good luck, guys. The fight just began. This person say, good luck, guys. The fight has just begun. Showing a picture of bandits and terrorists taking selfies with all kinds of persons. And this person say, what the hell of a terrorist country is this? APC is a terrorist country. And another person here said, APC Boko Haram. APC say Boko Haram is their fighter. Now, this person said, this means the quickest way to join the Nigerian army is to become a member of Boko Haram, kill enough Christians, submit yourself as being repentant, and then the military will absorb you into the Nigerian army. Dear Ted Cruz, hey, this is the situation since APC-led government came to power. Can you imagine? This person even tapped Ted Cruz. Hey, Wahala just began, you know? Wahala just began. Oh, this is so sad, you know, that we are here as a country. And this other person said, and other psychiatric patients will deny this. Instead, IPOB will be correct. Okay, this person said, Nigeria is getting worse day by day. What a feed country. This person said Nigeria is finished. We are finished. There's something very sinister going on between the army and the repentant terrorists. This is not good for anyone, but people are keeping quiet. The romance is making me uncomfortable. The quantity of illegal arms in the north is alarming. Hey. And then this other person said, we have just been saying this, that the Nigerian military is a terrorist organization working together with terrorists that is killing Nigerian Christians every day. Why can't Nigerian army emulate the way other fast-growing African countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad, and even recently Madagascar. Can't the so-called giant of African army stood on their feet and overthrow this terrorist government? Another person here said, what the hell is a terrorist doing in the Nigerian army in the first place? This is the same army one person is asking Igbo's youth to join. Hey, this is sad, honestly. And this other person is saying that this is how chaos starts. You can't mix victims with their former killers and call it rehabilitation. Soldiers risking their lives shouldn't have to watch their enemies wear same uniform. Madness disguised as policy. I think this makes a lot of sense. You know, this person is saying that you cannot just allow, oh my God, it's really so sad that it appears the Nigerian military is now confused, you know. Nigerian government and its military are a state sponsor of radical terrorism. This is more than abundant proof. There is more than abundant proof. Dirty terrorists in the corridor of power in Nigeria. The federal government is responsible for the insecurity in Nigeria. No sane government would deem it fit to have terrorists work with people that are meant to eradicate terrorism. Repentant fighters, especially those integrated into combat unit, gain access to the military standard operation procedure, patrol routes, communication protocols, and the rest of it. So guys, it's sad for the country. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.